probably nothing I haven't said recently that hasn't probably pissed somebody off or.
Oh, really? Could you tell me about that a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah. I mean, man, I mean, I used to be very liberal, very much the left space, I'd say, and I guess no hate, but at the same time, man, it kind of got to be, I don't know, very contradictive. The way people act in that space, and I'm not going to say the right is very perfect at all, because I don't necessarily want to say that I agree with both sides fully, but I was very much liberal, and
Uh-huh.
now that I've had children and started a family, it's definitely changed me a lot, in the way that I think and the way that I see the world, the way that I want my child to live, and the way I want my child to grow up in this world. Um, just kind of scary what people will try to teach children too. Also, a thing I've really been passionate about is abortion. Um, and I've said some things recently about that probably haven't made people happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like out of all the left kind of talking points and beliefs and stuff, abortion is the one that like I guess irks me the most. And like you said, having children is really a wake up call there. And yeah, I mean it's a worldview issue. And that's the one that's like because people, I mean, they're fighting for it. And you having lived with that worldview, you said you were kind of left leaning or hardcore leftist or something like that,
Oh
right?
yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, very much in that space.
So you kind of know
I've,
pretty well like their ins and outs of where they're coming from, why they think that way. You've probably practiced a lot of those like pro-abortion talking points and things like this,
oh
right?
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that would help you be able to talk to somebody that uses those talking points that you used to use or arguments for abortion and things like this. I'm sure I mean, you're able to put yourself in their shoes even more. So, uh, it's always really commendable for me to hear somebody that was on the left or even like a hardcore leftist or something, and then that they kind of woke up out of that and like I'm not saying yeah, I mean I think we're kind of in a similar boat, like not super right or left or anything, but um, having that wake up call, especially with children around, you can see just the wholesomeness there, and there's just like once you see it, once you see certain truths there, it's like you can't unsee it, you know. And
Exactly.
you said you've been kind of pissing some people off lately. Are they like friends and family?
I mean, maybe not. I don't want to say pissing them off. I don't know how they feel. I guess it's just how they're reacting. Um, but I can post some things, um, about something that I believe in now, right? And not people don't take it the right way. They kind of like I could even like preface with don't agree with far left at the far right, but this about the left, and then people be like, "Oh wow, dude, you're far right, this, that, and the other," and I'm
You're a
like,
Nazi,
"Okay, I
dude.
literally, yeah, well, exactly, that too, with the whole Charlie Kirk thing too. I don't believe with like everything that dude said. You're right. I don't full heartedly agree. I don't agree that people should be shot and killed because of what they believe. You know, um, you
Hmm.
live in a country where you are should and have the freedom of expression and speech, but people want to silence people for what they believe, and you can't say like if you were a true Nazi and you wanted to kill Jews and where you're full heartedly in that, I can't agree with that, right?
Hmm.
Uh, who am I also to like the executioner, right? That's not my job. Right?
Right.
It's like I don't know. It's such a weird space too politically. Like everything is politicized, so you can't really even have one thought out being labeled one side or the other. And that is just the most annoying thing about it all, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that is annoying. It's also lately I've been trying to kind of gamify a lot of it, as in like kind of make it a game, you know, like kind of chewing on like what arguments do I have, what are like effective responses that I have to certain arguments, whether it be like someone like that's pro gay or pro abortion and stuff like this. Like it becomes like you hear it, like you said, it's got everything's gotten so political. You start hearing the same exact talking points, and then really, if you kind of meditate and see what the argument actually is, like that's for abortion or for sodomy and stuff, it's like there isn't actually anything that's really foundational and strong. It just takes a little bit of time to think about it. That's my experience, at least. I just have to actually think about what the arguments are for it, and is it based in logic? Does it have any grounding, or are they just spewing fallacies? Wrong beliefs, wrong. Basically, they're trying to justify sin. They're trying to justify wrongdoings by using arguments. What are these arguments? How are they making them? Where are they coming from? And as you probably know now, it's like they're not coming up with those arguments themselves, because it's the same exact thing you hear over and over and over from so many people. That's at least my experience. So it's like they're parroting these arguments. They're they're repeating what they've heard, and they themselves haven't actually thought about it so much. Because if you do really sit and think about it, and try and come up with like a good grounding in why you believe what you believe, as you know, you're going to come to the truth, and the truth is Jesus Christ, the truth, the way, the life. The truth is true. The truth can't be sometimes not true or whatever. I mean, it has to always be true. So, and that's kind of been my thing too. Like, what is true? That's led me down a path of a lot of friction with a lot of different people. Yep. What is true? And as you know, the truth can be too harsh.
It is. It is rarely. I mean, yeah. I was a so-called atheist. Up until like not too long ago. Honestly, I mean, really till I started having a kid, and we found out we were having a kid. Something that was calling me to kind of look deeper within and not just think that there's no reason for anything and that nothing matters, and
right.
We all came from nothing. There's a big reason why there's man and woman, and the reason why the world is the way it is. And like in the whole like the whole gay thing too, right? I don't hate gays. Like that's never my thought. I don't hate people that do that. I might not agree with it full-heartedly, but I also agree, like, God gives you free will. So if you choose to do something that's against God, that's your choice. Go for it. If that's what you really want to do, you'll find out in the end. And I'm not gonna hate them for it. I'll pray for them, and I'll pray for people that are struggling. But at the end of the day, I'm not the executioner, so it's not my job at the end of the day to really carry out their life, or just, I've got to worry about mine and do what's right for me and my family. And hopefully I can talk to people and have conversations along the way that inspire people to maybe think a different way. But I don't know. The world's crazy, man. It is filled with a lot of sin and a lot of destruction. I mean, God himself be destructive, and he a lot of things that when he was displeased with the world, he destroyed it, or destroyed things and brought it back and gave people a chance. So we all have a chance to make our lives right again. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in any way. That's not I know I'll never be perfect. I can always try, though.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that. I'm not. Yeah, I mean, I know it's wrong to hate people. Like I don't hate anyone. I also don't affirm that I like the gay identity. I don't believe that's who they are. And I do need, like, you saying that as a reminder for me. I need to practice offering a message of hope. Like, the thing is though, like with someone that identifies as gay and things, like if you tell them, hey, you could wake up out of that, like you don't have to be that way, you know, that they're gonna take offense to it. Jesus Christ says, you know, the world hated me before you, you know, like we're gonna be hated for our beliefs for sure. People are gonna hate us, and it's up to us to turn the other cheek, not hate them, but stay firm in the truth.
Exactly.
Debate, like the church fathers, like the councils, like debate has been, it's not anti-Christian at all by any means. It can be, like, you can be wrong in debate and things, but there's you know, people contend with truth using words, and these topics, now that you have children, like, they're important. Like, you don't want your child to be in public. And and throughout history, there's been a healthy amount of shame, for example, towards gay people. I mean, because it's a shameful act, what they're doing. So it automatically brings shame upon them. What they're doing is shameful. So they have to compensate by, I'm so proud of what I'm doing, and they'll show it off. But the reality is most men don't want the children exposed to that. They don't want that in the public sphere. The whole coming out of the closet movement and you be you do whatever you want. That's not good. So there's still a lot to contend with there, a lot to talk about. And you and I, living in America, we live in this system that's still working. So we have a say, and we can influence politicians to make policies around these things. Like, there doesn't have to be gay marriage, for example. That doesn't have to be a thing. Like, we're told it hasn't even been around for very long, you know.
10 years maybe, or more, or longer, a little bit longer than
I think a little bit longer. And I should know, I talk to so-called gay people pretty often online, just because I have a lot of haters and stuff, so I should actually know when that came to fruition or whatever. But my grounding with my, you know, non-gay marriage argument, like marriage is an institution from God. It's pre-government, has nothing to do with political documents. Like, that's not marriage. So they can say they're married, and, you know, a man that says he has a husband and things, like, that's very confusing for a child. If a child hears a man say out loud, "This is my husband," that's not a good thing. There should be a shame around that. At the broad brush, there should be a shame around all the gay stuff. So part of me is I'm trying to bring that back. Of course, it's going to come across as hateful and everything.
Of course.
I do need to remind people, I don't hate anybody other than this, but the truth is true, and God made man and woman, and they can reproduce together, and ideally, of course, in a marital setting.
But yeah, you'll always need a man and a woman to create life. That's just biology. It's like very simple to see. It's just, that's how we are created. I mean, even in nature, you know, yeah, you can argue, oh, there's animals that are gay, like this, that, and the other, right? Like, okay, sure, make the argument, whatever. Okay, I can maybe see that, right? But they're never going to produce offspring. They're never going to. Two men, you're not going to create anything. Two women, you're not going to create anything. That's just not. That's not how it works. I also don't see how you can even make the argument against that. You know,
against the natural,
fallacy.
Yeah, naturalistic fallacy. Like, a lot of animals eat their own babies. Animals do all types of terrible things. Doesn't make it right if humans do it. And also, like a dolphin that puts his pee in a male dolphin's butthole. Like, does that dolphin, are they in love? Like, are they love each other? Like, that's like some type, like,
it's just a horny animal, you know?
Yeah, it's all about like dominance and things like this. Like, so I think that's a terrible argument. And actually, to be quite frank, every single pro-gay argument that I've ever heard is awful. It's like, it takes just a few minutes of thinking about it to dismantle it. That's been my experience. I've yet to hear a good pro-gay argument. I haven't heard one ever. So, because there isn't one.
Yeah, you know,
that's what I believe.
like, like I said earlier, like I don't hate anybody. I genuinely want people to be happy, right? I don't want people to be unhappy, right? To live their lives, gay or not. You know, it might not be right in the eyes of God, but like it always circles back to the beginning. It's like, well, God made free will. He allows you to choose your path. You want to choose to sin? That's your choice, right? I don't want it to be public, not necessarily public. I don't want it to be shoved in everyone's faces, and I don't want my children to just grow up with gay this, gay that. I mean, call it selfish. I would like my child to have children, and I want to be a grandparent. The only way for my child to do that is to meet a woman and have babies. Can't do that if he, finds a man. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I mean, yeah, people can argue all they want. I think the thing too that like always comes to mind is people they argue with emotions. They don't really argue with logic.
Totally.
Emotions are great. Don't get me wrong. Like, we need emotions. That's what makes us humans. But at the same time, emotions don't always have standing in reality.
Yep.
Because everyone's emotions go up and down. You could be mad one day and think the world's falling in and caving in, or you could be happy and think like, you're the most blessed person on earth, right? But you can't argue you are, and you can't argue you're the most blessed person on earth, and you can't argue that you're the most cursed person on earth. That's just like, it's just your emotion taking over.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's not. Yeah, it's not good. Totally. Yeah, and America, has a lot of we're very polarized in our beliefs, and there's a lot of like you said, the political sphere is like really heightened, especially over the past few years since COVID. Like it's been pretty crazy, and emotions. Yeah, I mean, like, so for a heroin addict, like they feel happy when they're shooting up heroin. And it's not good to live your life according to your emotions. Also, like, to lead your life. Like, men are more natural leaders. Like, we because we're not as emotional. Like, that's what I think. I mean, clearly my wife and I, like, I'm the leader because I am able to shut off all the emotions and just be logical about what decision needs to be made, and I can make decisions way better than she can, like on all levels, like small decisions, big decisions, all of it. And there's no argument there. It's clear as day over on this end, like, who's the leader. And I think that has everything to do with being emotional or not. I think emotions are good for sure. We need to be tuning into our body, like, and finding out how we feel and things. I think that's important, but to live our life accordingly is not healthy or logical either, because you feel different things about there's all types of emotions. I mean, it'd just be so chaotic to live your life according to that. And yeah, I mean, the gay stuff, I mean, so as far as my knowledge goes, most of these people that identify as gay have been sexually traumatized as a child, and they have now it's a trauma response, wanting to do stuff with poop, because any man in their right mind knows that is not okay. The butthole is not for that. And
goes out, it doesn't go in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't have to, dude. So it's funny because I was gonna not talk about any of this stuff with you. Like, I wrote down some things like about reggae music and stuff. I
still
honestly
talk about that stuff too, man.
Yeah, I didn't spend much time actually, because I got busy doing something else. I was gonna make a longer list of questions and things and see, but I did want to talk. That is something that we have in common. Well, it sounds like we have a ton in common, like family life, our worldview politically, and we're also into reggae music. Would you say that you're more into reggae music than any other genre of music?
That's pretty much, yeah, I would say that's pretty much all I listen to.
That's
I've only
awesome.
listened to, I had some like stuff happen to me when I was younger. I had some surgeries and I played hockey. That's pretty much all I did for my young life. And then I had an injury and I turned to music. My father was a musician, so I kind of naturally just picked up a guitar and started learning when I was in those times. And um, reggae just really spoke to me. I mean, even before then, I just remember listening to a parents' summer CD playlist on the way down to the Outer Banks from Virginia, and that's like what we would listen to all the time. Just this reggae playlist with like Third World and Steel Pulse and Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Bunny Wailer. The pretty normal, uh, whatever early 2000s
Hmm.
CD mix. But yeah, reggae has always been my bread and butter. And, I tiptoe and other things here and there, but I mean, it's like I'm always going back to reggae. Never usually anything else.
It was part of your healing journey. Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%. It really saved my life
Wow.
because I was in some dark spots. It was hard being 12 to 15 and not being able to go to school, not really being able to walk too much. In and out of the hospital, at home by myself. Not by myself, but like, my parents were home, but I was kind of left to my own device to find out, about myself and to kind of find another path. And reggae was really that thing that pulled me out of those dark spaces. Um, Music is a healing. I'm not going to say, not all music is a healing. I think a lot of, music is very healing for your soul, and to hear vibrations and lift you up. Um, it's
Totally.
but
Yeah.
reggae for me was that thing that really really kept me sane, um,
That's
and
awesome.
kind of brought me in a new direction when I didn't know where else to go.
That's so cool. Yeah, reggae has. I've heard that testimony from various people now that it's been like part of their healing journey. Like the reggae music is what led them to a path of healing, and whether that be away from like a degenerate lifestyle or even like you like a physical healing, literally. And would you say that's due to the nature of reggae, the genre, imitating the human heartbeat and being, it's like it's almost in tune with your body listening to reggae music, and a lot of people don't realize that, that reggae music is, imitating a human heartbeat that is not accelerated. It's like a steady, firm, like living heartbeat, especially like more down tempo reggae music, which is really cool. So you've been in a few. Well, you been in a few bands? You've been in, I know, more than one, right?
Yeah, I've been in a few bands, most out of Richmond, Virginia, and then one out of Virginia Beach, and be sitting in for a few bands here and there.
Dude, I wish I had a bio written out for you right now. This is Galiffa music producer, bass player, right?
Swear. Yeah, before I moved from Virginia to Maine, and that's where I'm residing now in Maine, started picking up the keys, and playing for
Bubble
my
organ.
buddy's band, Native Dread. Started playing keys in that band. It's kind of like what I really want to do now, honestly. I love bass, but like I've really wanted to kind of hone in on becoming a better keyboard player. I'd love to play drums too.
Reggae
I don't
drums.
have the.
Oh, man.
I'd love to. The time right now that I have is very limited. I mean, even getting on this call for the time that we have, it's like it definitely takes some coordination.
Totally. Yeah. I want my son to play reggae drums. That's like a dream, a selfish dream I have, It's like, and he's already playing the djembe really good, and of course
Oh, heck yeah, dude.
he's been hearing reggae his whole life, but just yesterday, I was looking online at like 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds that play drums, and dude, these little kids do amazing things.
It's nuts,
It's
dude.
actually
It humbles me so much, dude. It makes me feel like, I wouldn't say discourages me, right? But you see this young kid, and you've been playing for, 2 decades of an instrument, and this kid's like 8 years old. He's just ripping.
yeah. Hey,
You're just like,
one second, bro.
good.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah,
How's it going? Hey, I'm in an interview right now. Can you go back with Mama? No, I'm talking to somebody right now. I gotta keep talking to him. Can you go with Mama for a little bit? Yes, we're going to, but first I gotta talk with this person. Yes, it's just a free little bit. Then you're gonna come here. We're gonna play music. I did get an ouchie right there, buddy. I'll show you later. I'll show you later. I'll show you. It won't be long. Let's go with
love it.
just talking with about him too. He comes over, tries to
You probably heard his name.
yeah. Yeah, I want him to play drums, like to accompany me. It's like probably super selfish, but also to live vicariously through him because I want to play. I want to play more. I used to play drums when I was a kid, and I want to take it back. I made the studio here big enough to specifically be able to put a drum set in here, and to play reggae drums, man. Oh, just to play with the swing on the hi hat, and just to be able to just have some explosive crashes, just the the crashes. It's like it's such a physical, like it'd just be so much fun, to play reggae drums and to do it good, like.
You're just watching somebody that is just extraordinary at playing reggae drums is just so fun to watch. I don't, if you go to shows, I haven't been to shows too much recently, but like just going to some reggae shows, and I find that I hone in on the drummer, 9 times out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really what my attention focuses to. I'm just, staring and staring and staring because I'm just detecting as much as I can.
Yep.
Whether or not I retain any of it, right? It just draws me in.
Yeah.
I joke my wife about like, I'm basically having kids to start a family band,
Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously not, right? But like that's just the joke where I'm like, oh yeah, like I'm creating my family band. Like, my son he's gonna be the drummer. Next one, he's probably gonna be the guitar player, and then obviously so on and so forth. But it's like, I'm just gonna build my whole reggae band.
Totally, yeah, and said the same thing. It's funny, man. Totally. Yeah, because I mean, as you know, you've been in the bands and things. It's like it's difficult working with other musicians and getting organized and everything. So, and with a family, it would just be. I mean, you could just mold your children into the perfect reggae band that you've been dreaming up. So that's funny.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I first started playing in bands, my dad had played in bands, his whole life, and it was like, I kind of remember, not maybe paraphrasing a little bit, but he goes, playing in a band is amazing. It's the best thing ever. He goes, but it is hard as what to get everyone to be on the same page all the time, always have everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And I've definitely been in bands where there's turmoil and there's things that happen, and I try to remind myself mostly, what am I doing here? What am I doing? Why am I in a band? What's the one thing I'm doing here? And I've had a band where we're splitting up, or one person was falling out, and two people or one they were kind of going at each other a little bit, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, what is the one goal that we have all to do here? To play fucking music. It's
Mm-hmm.
what we want to do. We want to play fucking music. Like if you can't see past that, I understand people don't agree and always get along, right? But
Yeah.
you're
Reggae
just
is
here to
also
play music.
reggae music is also all political, like historically
Oh,
very
for sure.
political too. So yeah, that's like a whole other element to it. But you're so right. Yeah, to go back to the roots, to go back to the music, and even like when I listen to reggae music, like the chanter, the singer, it's like I actually put way more focus on just the vowels, like whatever, like just the melody of the voice. I don't even like the words are just like secondary, you know,
Yeah.
like.
It's a gibberish.
And you can say the same if we're all arguing the band and things. Hey, let's just play music. Stop talking. Like,
I mean, seriously, right? I mean, it is a sound. Reggae is a sound. You were talking about the heartbeat. I mean, it you know, the lyrics and the politics definitely come with it, right? Like that's like the attitude of it. But at the same time, strip it away. You take the vocals out. Anyone hears reggae, like you hear that sound, you know it's reggae.
mm-hmm.
You know it's reggae instantly. I mean, even just a drum fill in like intro, you're gonna know that it's reggae.
Totally. Yep.
It's very unique.
Mm-hmm. So you've been in a few bands. You play bass. By the way, I've heard that you're an amazing bass player. I haven't heard you play. Well, I guess I have heard you play, but um, Righteous Roots. He told me that you're like top amazing bass player. Uh, you also told me that you were working setting up equipment, right, for Mike Love, and you told me you did a tour with
Yeah,
him, or a couple tours.
yeah. I've done a few tours with Mike Love as a sound engineer. Um, haven't been able to go out. I've been maybe I think what like 3 times now, possibly yeah 3 times in the last 3 years. Um, most of the time, or a couple of times, I just haven't been able to go with just the birth of the child. We've been
Mm-hmm.
having our kids like midsummer, and that's typically when he goes out. So, but my background, and I started producing music at a very young age, and I really just wanted to learn how to do it more, and so I chose to go to a trade school, the Conservatory of Recording Arts and Sciences. I went back there in 2013. Tried to do studio. I kind of found that it was a really hard market to work in. And I went back to Virginia after being in Arizona and Nashville, and I got into live sound. Um, and I've been on and off doing live sound engineering for the past, what is it, like 13, 14 years. Finally got to go on tour with Mike in 2023. But I still help people out here and there. I helped out a buddy of mine with a little festival he had the other week. I'm doing sound, and I'm not doing it right now full time, but that's kind of where I started.
Yeah, is
Uh,
that something that you want to do more of?
um, Man, sound engineering. I love doing live. Like live music. It doesn't matter if it's reggae or not. I just think it's very important um, for people, for children, I mean, it's a good way for people to get together and gather. Um, Regardless of, you can forget politics, you can forget the world. Music's right in front of you. You're all doing the same thing. You're all there to do the same thing. That's kind of just one thing I love about live music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, One thing I'd love to do more. I mean, I live in a tiny home, as do you. I don't really have a shed to work in right now. I'd love to produce more music. I'd love to work with other artists, and we did a song together. I'd love to just kind of create tracks for vocalists to use and to kind of create on. It's kind of where I've been finding my outlet recently.
Cool.
Just kind of creating and allowing people to just work together with people, because I'm not in a band right now, and that's one thing I miss too. I would love to play in a band again one day. Not really the time right now, but
Mm-hmm.
um,
Dude,
production is
maybe
kind of
future tens we're gonna be jamming some one drop. You're gonna be playing bubble organ and they.
I love that.
But going solo and playing keyboard is pretty crucial. as you know, especially in the producer realm. I mean, play all the instruments on it. You
Yep.
know, play your bubble organ, your skank, your bass melody, all of it, pretty much with the keyboard now. You know.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I pretty much produce everything from a keyboard these days. I mean,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't beat a live drum set or a live organ or piano,
No.
but
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of limited with what I have, so I'm just trying to make whatever I can work.
So you've done a few tours with Mike Love. You've been in a few bands playing bass. You've been listening to reggae for a long time, making reggae for a long time. I'm sure you've met a lot of people that are really into reggae too. You told me once before,
Oh yeah,
like that people that are into reggae are like really into it. It's not just like a side hustle or
no,
whatever. It's like that's their passion.
yeah.
Uh,
Typically, I mean, I would say that you find you find a musician that plays reggae. They're typically a musician that focuses solely on reggae.
mm-hmm.
They're not I mean, there's a lot of people. I've played in some bands where we found this really good keyboardist. Let's try him out and let's get him in here, and he can play jazz like no other. Just absolute maestro. Then you try to get him to do a bubble and a skank, and it's like so foreign. I mean, even drummers, man. I've met drummers that are just like incredible at playing that instrument. I mean, absolutely insane. And then you're like, hey, play a one drop.
Yep.
And I'm like, did you forget how to play the
Yeah,
drums?
the
Or is
kick and the snare are in the right place. The hi-hat is doing anything but what it's supposed to be doing. That's my
it kind of
experience.
funny, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I feel like bass players are very versatile, because like reggae takes a lot of aspects of other music too into the genre, like a lot of open space, like funk music kind of reggae. I'm not saying that they're one and the same, but they have a lot of those open notes and the space between. And that's really what makes the sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that bass players are a little bit more versatile. I mean, I can't say that for myself. I'm not like I can play reggae pretty well. I'm not gonna even say I'm the best at all. Not even damn close. But I don't know. It is kind of funny that happens. I just like I don't know if that's just from genre to genre or what, but
Yeah, it's funny that you
uh,
say funk too because I was managing a band for a few years there in Mexico where I was living, and we're 5-piece band, sometimes 6, but pretty steady 5-piece. And an issue that I had, not with the bass player. The bass player was steady and all he did was reggae, so he knew what he was doing. Uh, but the keyboardist, and not just the keyboardist, had a keyboardist and a guitarist. They get too funky. It's not my thing. It's not the sound that I'm looking for, you know. But you're right. They can kind of play with back and forth. So, but like running down the chromatic scale or the bass, going like sliding down the whole fretboard and things. So, and I don't like. I'm not a big. It's not my vibe, like. And also another thing is like these people that are super versatile and musicians and can play all types like jazz, like you said it right, like jazz players, like I can play anything because I play jazz. And all right, well, what about reggae? And there's the feeling isn't there. The emphasis is not on the counter time. Like
no, not
it's
at all.
not where it's supposed to be, you know. I always had a problem with that. It's like that's actually what I've said often. Like, hey, it's too funky. It sounds too funky. Like, bring it back.
Too funky.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Another thing is like the jazz. They're running down the chromatic scale and they're doing all. I mean, so they play reggae and it's humbling. You gotta be staying in that repetition and go slow and like stay there. Like for a keyboardist that knows all of it, it's like no, I just need you to like I just need you to be there. So very cool, man. And so you've been playing some bubble organ. It feels good to go into that on the keyboard, you know.
It is. Well, it's like it's it's well, it's kind of funny. Like my wife will listen to some music or whatever, and for a long, I mean, we've been together for shoot, I I don't know, 8 years now, 7 years now. Not married for that long, but it's like all I listen to, and she loves reggae too, right? But I would start to like, do you hear this instrument in here? And she'd be like, what? What do you mean? I'm like, do you hear the you hear the bubble and the skank? Like, what's the bubble and the skank? I'm like, just try to just isolate it. Try to isolate it, you know?
Yep.
And now, I'm sure people don't even really hear it sometimes, right? But it's so important.
Oh yeah.
It's so important to the sound. So if like pointing out to people, they're like, oh, I never actually heard that before. I just like it fits so good in there. I'm like, yeah, because it's literally doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yep.
Just like keeping it all together, and it's making this really cool syncopation, right?
Totally.
That was kind of fun, like expanding her mind to that, because now she's like points it out to me sometimes, or she'll talk about it, especially when I started playing keys too. And man,
yeah, I taught my wife too, like how to do the bubble, because she was playing around with the piano for doing chords and things, and of course she's with me. She's only gonna hear reggae and play reggae and everything. So I taught her how to bubble, and she didn't get it at all until she start feeling it. And when you start feeling it, then it's fun, and totally like that bubble, hugging the counter time, the bang, it's like it adds so much emphasis to the counter time where the emphasis needs to be in the feeling. Just the fact that it's hugging it, like it's because it's like there's more right in the middle. There's more, it just adds so much right there. It adds like a kind of little build up, and it adds like a little release from it. So yeah, it's super crucial. And as you know, the skank guitar can do that too. If it wants, of course not as much, but yeah, the bubble organ, and
best.
Yeah, that's what I find.
I don't even care about being like super lead. Like my brain has never been like, even playing guitar. I've always just liked rhythm, and I've never been very lead oriented in my head, and that's kind of why I like the bass so much. It's rhythmic, but it's like its own lead in a sense, especially in reggae. It's like its own melody within the song. I mean, you take the bass out. I mean, yeah, you can still have the skank and the bubble. The bass is like a counter melody to the vocals as well. Really drives the song.
Oh yeah, grounds it so much. Take the bass out, and we're just floating, waiting for the bass, to come back.
It's like you see these people that like they'll go and they'll play acoustic reggae, and they don't have I'm like, kind of like nowadays, now that there's loopers, you kind of have to be able to play the bass and do acoustic. You have to put that in there. You can't just go sit in front of a mic and play. I mean, you can't. It's not that you can't, right? Like if you're doing a live performance, man. Nowadays.
Yeah, reggae minimum. You need the chord progression with the skank, and you need the bass melody, and you need drums. Like minimum, you need those three things. But
you could do without. I mean, a lot of bands have done without the keys, right? But oh man, you know what's pretty lame nowadays? Going back to live stuff, to me, man, these backing tracks are so sad. It's so sad to me, dude. It's so sad to see some of these bands, be like 2 guitar players and a drummer, and everything else is like a full backing track keys and full backing track bass, and I'm like, dude, I can't even watch that. It's just a glorified DJ. It's just a glorified DJ. Being on the road, seeing some of those, like the festivals, you see some of these reggae bands, and Man, I mean, they're making it work, and I'm sure they're probably making a little bit more money because they don't have to pay, an extra band member or two or three.
Right.
It's just, and I don't want to hate on it. It's just, it's kind of sad, man. That's just kind of what I thought reggae was full band, even if it's like 9, 12 pieces, whatever, full, like Groundation, dude. Groundation's a massive band,
Hmm.
and these bands that have like two keyboarders. I mean, even some of these bands that are on tour, some of these big, like some of the biggest artists, reggae artists, dude, most of it's backing tracks. Like, dude's off the keys, but yet there's not another keyboard player, and there's still a bubble and a skank.
Really? See,
Okay.
I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. I'm kind of
Yeah.
out of touch right now. So from that
It's just
world,
my experience.
that's
It,
wild. Yeah,
yeah,
it
man.
really takes the
The,
feeling out of it. Like the genre is so much about feeling, and
well, it's turned
we were
more of
talking about
these.
emotions and things, but like no,
Yeah.
reggae music is totally about like there's a feeling there. Like it's almost like you have it or you don't. You have to be able to. Every musician has to be able to really feel it. And yeah, if there's it's almost like it's just like a metronome there, with having that backing track. It's like it's just like a little robot like just ticking away back there.
Yeah.
It takes the
Well,
human
most
out of
people
it.
obviously don't know either, right? Like most people aren't gonna really, because they've turned it into such a these performances and these things. They've turned it into a consumer. Um, I mean, that's how they make their money, right? But it's so much more into a performance rather than being, in like this huge entertainment thing, instead of being like the core value of being like, oh, I'm going to see these awesome musicians play my favorite music, you know. Then you come to find out, you're like, oh wow, man, the guy jumped off the keys, and
Really?
they're running around stage. They're running around stage, and
Uh
you're like,
huh.
and he starts
Yeah,
playing, or the
totally
dude
know what
starts
you're
playing
talking about.
guitar, and the guitar's still going.
Yep. I know
You
what you're
know,
talking about. It's not the vibe. It isn't with the
it's just
reggae. It's such
to
a
me,
human.
that's for me though, right? Like
Yeah.
most normal, maybe I wouldn't have ever known that if I never would have actually watched or been there to see that happen.
True. I wanted to ask you something else about music related. Um, you mentioned that you are now putting more focus on the keyboard and you're making rhythms, you're making tracks, and I wanted to ask you about your creative process. Like, where do you start? Where do you even begin when you make a track?
I feel like sometimes it just really kind of depends on my mood, in a sense, right? Or what I've been listening to. Have I been focusing on drums more? Like, do I want to have a specific drum sound or style of drums? And I feel like that recently has been driving me. I'll listen to a lot of old school, um, roots Jamaican, very Jamaican music, and like I really want to emulate that as much as I can. Um, it's just because that's just where those drum sounds come from, like horse mouth.
Hmm.
You know, just listening to some of his stuff, and I bought a sample pack, just to try it out and to get those old sounds. Um,
Man, you
I
gotta
guess
send me some more rhythms, man. I wanna
I will. For sure.
I gotta chant on some more of your rhythms, and it'd be awesome to be able to release more music with you. Uh, what about like building the track? Like, you don't or would you start off with the drums?
Not all the time. I mean, I'll a lot of times I'll start with a chord progression, bubble and skank, and from there and shoot. I mean, I could start with the progression and then some drums in that I like, map it out. I might be like, I really don't like this chord progression, not feeling it, and then I'll just from there, if I like the drums, I just change the progression and to kind of fit where I want the
Mm-hmm.
sound to be. Um, but typically, yeah, in bass being my real background, I'll definitely try to hone in on the bass. and where the bass sits, because that's kind of the start of the melody for me. Um,
Are you making your tracks with your bass guitar, or are you on the keyboard?
a lot of times I'll sit, so I don't, it's in a tiny house, right? I don't have a lot of room. My guitars aren't in my house right now. They're at my buddy's house up at the top of the hill. I don't always have my bass ready, so most of the time to start, I will at the progression. I'll probably even just get my acoustic guitar out and I'll just kind of play the acoustic, and then I'll just map it out on Logic as to the best of my ability. And then if I like the sound, I'll stick with it. If not, I'll go grab my bass and I'll record as best as I can.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, right now, just being in a tiny home, man, it is hard, especially to have my full setup. So a lot of the times recently, it's really just been kind of ear and just trying to write the bass in, or you know, do anything I can on my keyboard on my computer. I mean, it's very minimalist right now. Wish I had more, but it's, you know, my time will come when I can have that full setup. But
Are
um,
you planning on making something or creating a space where you can produce more or make music?
definitely in the future. We're not on our own property right now, so that's, kind of holding me back. I've learned how to build structures. I've built this house on a frame. I built a shed. I've helped people build some stuff recently, but um, one day my goal is to have a full studio built, and that's kind of definitely my dream. I really want that as much as I can now, but I know that it's just not. I don't really want to build a studio or a shed on a property that I don't own, because
Mm.
we want our own property one day, and
Yeah.
who knows if it will be in Maine too.
That's awesome that
Yeah,
you have that space to learn all those skills that you can bring on your own property one day, and that's really cool. It's cool that, dude, that's funny. I just do odd jobs now, like work for myself. So, uh, yeah, I learned how to build stuff on my, like with my own house and the studio and stuff. And then people need, like, I have neighbors that just need help with stuff, So,
yep.
and all type remodeling, decks. I just helped a neighbor build a really big, like 90-foot deck.
Oh
And
wow.
before, when we didn't, like when I didn't have the tools, it's all about tools, right? There's like a tool for everything. And
My
then,
God, dude.
just, I know, it's so annoying. Like,
It just gets you deeper and deep, and then you have all the tools, and you're like, well, what else am I gonna do with these things? I have to like find a reason.
I know, yeah. And then sometimes you have to hire somebody that has like a specific tool for something. It's going to be cheaper to hire this person to do this thing because they have the tool for it than
Yep.
actually going out and buying it yourself. Um, I didn't like. I think like you're a family guy. I'm a family guy, so we kind of have to learn these things, especially if we're going to be, like. Aiming for like homestead or sustainable living, all these things, like we have to have like pretty eclectic uh, skills, all types of different skills: plumbing, electricity, carpentry, and uh, but I also, like, yeah, I did the tiny house. Of course, before the tiny house, I had to have some storage. So I had a neighbor, actually, they gifted me the shell of a Sprinter van, an old Sprinter van. It's just the shell. It doesn't have a motor or transmission or anything. I'm still using it as like a storage shed. It's where I put everything. And that's key, right? I mean, just space. Like, you just need space for
Yeah.
everything. And it's like commendable people that, like, as their occupation, they're a handyman. That's what they do for a living. But the thing is, you have to have like you have to have so much space for all these tools for everything.
It's
Like,
nuts,
I
dude.
envy just like someone that, like, for example, like a massage therapist. They just, all they have is like their just little table they opened up, and that's their tool. That's it. You know?
It's funny you say that, because my wife is a massage therapist,
Mm.
and so her she hasn't brought it out yet, but she has her own a table, and it just fits right in our loft. You know, I can't even bring all of my music gear in here because
Yeah.
I can't fit all of it.
Uh
You
huh.
know, because I have so much of it,
Yep.
and it's so much bigger. You know, bass amps, guitars,
Monitors,
microphone
computers. Yep.
stands, monitors, like just on and on. You know, like you
Mhm.
said, you know, then it's like chose to live in a tiny home, so it's like it's kind of on us, right, to make do with the space that we have or figure it out.
Yep. And now I'm like, how am I going to? I need to start welding. Like I have a little bit of
Oh yeah.
skills welding, but not much. I need more because I want to start building like metal frames because I want to build like a tornado bunker, dude. Honestly, like my biggest stress in life is like when there's storms and I have the little kids and my
What is
wife.
that?
That's like the biggest like fear I have in life right now, honestly. Storms. Like there's a lot of them down here and
Oh yeah,
just lots of
right
winds.
down the alley.
Mhm. There's lots of winds and tornado warnings, and it's like a lot of people around here have tornado bunkers. Like they have, they sell them. They sell like these big structures that you just bury, put underground. And there's been too many times where I'm like, I want to like just go into a hole somewhere, bring my kids and my wife, and just be in a hole for like the next few hours. Because of just flying objects, trees falling, whatever, right? It's like, and I don't know how we got off into this, but we're talking about building structures and space and stuff. And literally last night, because there was a storm yesterday, I'm like, I need to build like an underground bunker now. Like, what the hell?
Man, I'm just like I'm almost there, but you know that, but also just the world. You never know what when you know when you could need a structure like that. You know, I always used to laugh at preppers. I'm like, oh, you guys are stupid. Like, whatever. And now I'm like, I want 5 bunkers. You
Yeah,
know, one for all the things with tunnels in between them all, so I can have all the things that I need. You
yep.
know,
Food storage.
food storage, guns,
Yep.
uh,
Ammo.
whatever, man. All of
Totally.
that.
That is crazy. Yeah. And I've witnessed a lot of that. Like in Mexico, we were living with preppers. They had been doing it for over 30 years, and they had so many skills, man. Like you just wouldn't even believe it. It was really inspiring for me. There were a couple of them were pretty schizo, but they were Christians, so they had a good grounding. But you know, I mean, you can go really far with this, especially like how often are you looking online? Pretty much it comes down to that. How often are you looking online at these things? Like I think it's really important to be aware. And men, like I think it's important for men to, like, if you're a father or husband, like we need to be somewhat aware of what's going on geopolitically, whatever, like just a little bit at least, you know. uh and as you know, like,
You should know what's going on. You should definitely know what's going on in your world and the country and the community around you. Like I think that's very very important.
yeah, you can go so far with the prepping though, and you know, I mean, you're living your whole life prepping for something that maybe doesn't even happen, you know, so it's like this and that. But I know that, and as you know, it's like it's so much work, living, like building your own house and all the maintenance and everything else. It's like
Crazy dude.
it's so much work and money and time, all of it. Like, and as you know, like building things, it's like you think it's gonna be take 3 days, it's gonna be like 2 weeks. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know my. It's funny, right? So like we found out we were pregnant and we are gonna have a child, and my wife was like, I'm not gonna be in Virginia in this heat. She goes, let's move to Maine. I know somebody that has a old camper. We can build a house on the frame. Let's go up there. And I'm like, you realize they're our son's due in September. And I was like, it's only gonna. I'm like, I can only start building. Like we can't go up there now because I can't build in the winter there. You know. So I'm like, I'm only gonna have from April till then. And she's like, oh, you should be able to get it done by then. It's only a tiny home. And I'm like, yeah, okay, right. So I'm like, let's do it. don't even get like halfway through,
Totally, that's
you
how
know,
it
until
is.
my
It's
child's
crazy.
born. I'm like, oh God, dude, you
Yep.
know, what did we do?
Yeah,
Um,
we were. Dude, I was so retarded and thinking this is gonna take me. This is gonna take me 3 months to do, and it took me like over a year to
yep,
build it. And we were renting, paying about $1,000 a month. That is sweet though when you can get out of the rent. You know, like moving in, it's like oh, and there is some euphoria there, and there is like like oh, I'm in my home. You know, like that's amazing feeling, and there is something about
it's the
being
best.
like husband, father, man, and building your home that you live in. There is something very great about it. I almost wouldn't recommend it to everybody. Like at our church, there's tons of Gen Z. There's tons of young single men there, and they're like looking for guidance and things. And it's like I just recommend like learning a trade, like focusing on one trade because doing a homestead, you have to learn like all of the trades.
Yep.
And it's just so much work, it's so much time. And I mean, as you like your wife was pregnant, like there's like some life pressure like, oh, we need to have a place and all these things for the kids and so that can lead you to, having to learn all these different skills, but like I really wish I was I believe I don't have enough time, but I'd like to know more about electricity and like like hone in on
Yeah.
that and become like a master at least at one of these trades instead of being like pretty good at all of them. I'd say the
Jack
best
of all
I'm at
trades.
so far is just carpentry. As you know, with wood, you have to like just
Actions,
you do it the
striping.
most, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about your tiny home if it has, like we don't have like running water. We have a tank. I have to fill a tank up. It's like I PEX in whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 3 lines or 2 lines. One to the hot water heater and then cold water out
Yeah.
to both the lines. And
Mm-hmm.
then so it's like super simple. Like honestly, man, I couldn't imagine doing a whole 2-story house with like 4 bedrooms or 2 bathrooms and
Totally.
all the electricity about that, the plumbing too, man, the sewage. That's something that scares me the most because like the
Mm-hmm.
last thing I'd want is to bury lines and then like have a sewage leak and then have a bunch of poo poo leaking out
I
all of
know.
my land.
I
I
know.
don't want that. That'd be awful.
Yeah, it's like that is like the spookiest thing, connecting to the septic and all that. That was my like, and I felt rushed. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I felt too rushed on some of these things, and I still think about my drain line, thinking like there's like rocks under there, and there could be pressure, and it could bust, and all this stuff. Like I do have
Yep.
I put a clean out on it, so I mean we have that, but to have to like unbury pipes, dude, it's freaking nightmare. And like I still think like, oh, I should have put sand underneath it, like
Yeah, right. All the
um
what ifs, man. I'm like, oh
I
man,
know.
I should have done that. I should have done this. I'll never do it that way again. I'll never do it that way again. If I ever have to do it again, like they'll never do it that way.
Totally, and that's part
You're
of
talking
it.
about your.
Make so many mistakes, right? Like
Oh man, yeah, I learn a lot. You were talking about your church and the young guys. Um, you know, the way that the world is going now too. I would never. It's not that I would never tell my child to not go to a university or go to college. If like they really, really wanted to go, I would get behind it and I would support them. But at the same time, the trade thing, man. Like, if you learn a trade, you will always be needed forever.
totally.
You'll always have a job. If the computers go out and the internet goes down and you can't sit behind a computer anymore, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
If you can plumb, like they've had plumbing and lines since like Rome, right? They were making aqueducts and having some sort of sewage and even electricity. If you know how to make a battery, you can make batteries and you can do all this crap. It's like learn a trade, man.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go to university. Don't waste your money. You're gonna be so
Yeah.
much in debt and you're gonna fight your whole life just to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
It's so needed. I find like people like homeowners, because I mainly do tree work, so I'm with my clients are homeowners, so most of them are older people, and they just need so much done on their place. Like people, they're always looking for workers. I hear it so often, like homeowners saying that they need a new electrician, or they needs this done or that done, or they want to remodel or whatever it is. Like there's just so much to be done that the midwit, what the midwit is.
No, like 4,000 million years ago we were born, and you don't even know because AI is gonna take over, and
all of that. So it's like the simple man is like, no, like I gotta dig that hole, and AI ain't gonna dig that hole. It's like, so yeah, it gets really simple. And as building, you're digging a lot. It's like trenches, like where, like water, like where's the water going? Like, and that's a big deal too. Like, is the water gonna get under the house? Like, it's like no water. Like water is such a big deal, and like with mold and everything, like water is such a big deal, and so many trenches need to be dug. AI is not going to be digging any of those trenches. Also, like just the money,
robot, but
the amount of money it takes to build something, it's just absurd, man. Like easily, even with this tiny home, you could spend $1 million on a tiny home with the appliances. Like if you wanted to, you could get like, you could get like all super nice maple oak, whatever, I mean, you could easily spend $1 million, on labor and on materials and everything. And just the appliances, you could have super expensive appliances inside of your house too. So even though
it's realize how expensive like a fucking sink was, dude, just like buying a fucking sink. Like what? Holy shit. It's not even that big. Like what? Why is it over $500? It's like 600 whatever bucks plus bucks, or like a tiny refrigerator is like 300, 400 bucks, and then
yeah,
it just keeps adding up and keeps adding up.
I know all the little things too. Like
even fucking like a fuse, dude. Even a fuse costs like $50.
Oh gosh,
like a 20
yeah.
fuse.
All the brackets and the fitting, all the fittings, like copper fittings and stuff too. It's just crazy.
Windows and doors. Oh my god, dude!
I know.
A window is nuts.
Yeah.
Like the cheapest window you can buy is like $170.
And that one doesn't have the argon gas. It's not like it's not double pane. It's just like a basic
pane,
like.
Right.
So, yeah, and labor. Like if you don't know how to do this stuff, if you don't, you also all the tools that you need to buy to be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
Like if
you have good friends. I mean, we were lucky enough to have a lot of good friends up here. Already made, and my wife had already made, that had one pitched in to help. I mean, the guy my buddy who the property we're living on. I mean, he helped me build a good portion of it when he could, and he works 50 plus hours a week, and he would help me, and people that would donate tools for me to use. I mean, even the church. Got into a little bit late in the build, but they were like, oh, we have all these tools. I've got like a table saw you can just take and you can have it for as long as you need. I've got a miter saw you can have and take as long as you need. Like, oh, you need your help to replace your roof. We had to replace our roof in the winter because we had some condensation building up, and like people from the church just like, yeah, we'll come and help.
It's so key. It's so key to have a community of people, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without friends, neighbors helping us. I have a neighbor, he's like 74 years old, and he's got so many tools that he's lent me, like that I haven't had to buy. I've actually had to buy very few tools.
Same.
And another thing is, like, if you do it yourself, then you're spending all the time doing it and you're not actually making money. So it's not like you're losing money too, because you're not out doing your job and making money. You're spending your time building. So yeah, and this is kind of ties into like something that I used to believe more, is like the nuclear family, and yes, but it can't survive by itself. Like a nuclear family, it's not going to work. We need help, especially raising children. It's like, oh my God, there's so much. Like, wife needs help. She needs a lot of help. Of course she does. Like, kids are crazy. It takes so much energy. And, like, we need family, we need friends, we need communities. So I can't imagine doing things without a church. Like, I can't imagine trying to have a family, honestly. I can't even imagine. Like, we wouldn't even be living where we're at if it wasn't for our church. We would be back in Mexico, living as close as we could to her parents, where we could have more help from people, you know.
Yep.
So, dude, let's wrap this up. This was an awesome conversation. I'm really glad I got to talk with you. And actually, dude, it's I've said this like multiple times now, but it's kind of mind blowing how much we have in common. You know, even politically, all like there's so many topics we could talk for a long time. You know, like about all this stuff, and we're on a very similar life path too. Like we're talking about prepping and being aware. We're husbands, we're fathers, we're reggae musicians, like Christian. Like, dude, it's kind of crazy how many things we have in common. So I hope we can
live in a tiny home, built our tiny homes.
Yeah, dude, this is crazy.
Goes on and on.
Kind of mind blowing. We got to keep these conversations up and keep talking about different things. Maybe next time I'll have more questions prepared. And let's make some more music together, man.
I'm gonna send you a few things I might have in the vault that you might like.
Dude, I'll work on it. I got the space and the passion for it now, even more so after talking with you. So I really want to make music with like-minded individuals. So
hey man, I just want to touch on this. You said Righteous Fruits, right? Me and Tommy did not have a great relationship at the end, and it didn't work out well. And I'm happy to hear that he said some good things about me, because I was a little surprised that he would. I was definitely not in the right sphere of people that were pushing me towards the direction. I might not agree with everything he says as well, but I do hope that he is doing well, and I hope that he's prospering, and I hope that he continues to.
Yeah. I told him that you have a family, that you built a tiny home, and he didn't know that. Like, he didn't know that you had a wife, like a kid, like that you guys had a family, children. And he was like super happy for you. Like, he was like, that's awesome. Like, that's awesome. So, and yeah, I mean, he spoke really highly of you. He said that you're like top bass player, reggae bass player, which is really cool, dude. Yeah, bass guitar. Yeah, very cool, man. Yeah, he may end up seeing this, and maybe you guys can connect at some point again. And dude, it just goes to show that we need to have grace for ourselves and for other people, and dude, so many things, even for these gay people that we're talking about. Like, there can be like massive lifestyle changes in people. You're a walking testimony of that. I'm a walking testimony of that. And yeah, we need to be able to call out the evil where it's at, but at the same time show grace, show mercy, just how God has showed mercy towards us. So bless, man. One love. Appreciate you, brother.
God bless you, brother.
Same way. Have a good rest of the day. Peace.
Hey, bud.
Feminism is a problem.